Nigeria's women's national basketball team, the Tigress, they ended their three-game exhibition series against China on a high, defeating the host 88-77. That game took place in Foshan on Wednesday. Elizabeth Balogun led the charge with 26 points, while Grace Efosa added 19 as Nigeria avoided a clean sweep after losing their first two games by narrow margins. The victory provides a major confidence boost for coach Rena Wakama's side as preparations continue for the 2026 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup in Berlin. The Tigress will now travel to Tenerife, Spain, for the next phase of their training camp from the 15th to the 24th of August, where they are expected to face Spain and Belgium. Nigeria, of course, will compete in Group B of the World Cup, which begins on the 4th of September. We're now being joined by basketball experts and a good friend of ours, Kenny Bamidele. He joins us from Abuja, where he's covering phase 2 of the Aminu Good Works Foundation basketball combine, which is actually being hosted by former D-Tigress star Alade Aminu. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The Tigress, finally, let's start with them, finally showing some really good form and winning their third game. So what do you make of their preparation so far? The fact that they played 3 games against China, who are ranked 4th in the world, lost to 1-1. The second one, the first 2 games they lost narrowly. The third one they won convincingly. What do you make of that performance?
Thank you very much for having me, Babatunde. I appreciate it big time. Yeah, talking about the Tigers of Nigeria, I think it was a good one that they actually won today. Absence of 2 key players for China, Zhang Ziyu, the tallest player on that team, a player that gave us a big one for our money. She missed out in today's game due to injury. And Wang Xiyu also missed out. These 2 players were key to China beating Nigeria in the first 2 games. But, of course, there was another Xiyu who actually led the point for China today, and that's Yang Xiyu. She had 23 points, but that wasn't enough. Our own Elizabeth Balogun came to the party with a game high 26 points, even though China knew that the powerhouse in that the Tigress team has to be Ezine Kalu. So I think they did a whole lot of job in trying to cage the limited impact in that particular game today. So it's just training, it's just preparations for the FIBA Women's World Cup. Trust me, I think this will go down as one of the best preparation that the Tigers will have, has ever had ahead of any major tournament. And I hope that this will reflect in their performance when the FIBA World Cup actually kickstart. So losing China in the first 2 games is not a problem. After all, it's just a friendly game. Winning the third game, very good one. But you can see that because China we are missing 2 of their key players, that was how we were able to get the win. Okay. But at the end of the day, the win is actually very important.
Okay, so I need to stick with that Chinese team, Kenny, because Zhang Ziyu is 7 foot 3 inches tall. That, by any stretch of the imagination, is a weapon on both ends of the court, either offensively or defensively. So she's a cheat code. And I do know, as a matter of fact, that Nigeria also possesses another cheat code, a similar cheat code, Stephanie Okechukwu, who is 7 foot 1 inch tall as well. She plays for Texas Tech as well. I think she was called up to a training camp earlier this year. Why isn't she part of the team? Because we've clearly seen now, according to the 3 games we played against China, that size, immense size, a major advantage going into the World Cup. Why isn't she part of this team?
Yeah, for Stephanie Okechukwu, one thing I can assure you is Stephanie Okechukwu is always ready to play for Nigeria. But I think there are very important things that has to be taken care of right now. Our present team is part of it, and of course, documentation is also part of it. But I think once all of that are sorted, she's going to be part of the D-Tigress team. I don't know if it's going to be the FIBA World Cup. If not, then subsequent tournament. We don't have to rush her into the team because she has the size. No, we have present group of players that should be able to get the job done. When the time is right, we're going to ease Stephanie Okechukwu into the team, right? That is what I think about it. And by the way, you talked about Zhang Xiyu, special player, someone that was born May 2007. She's 19 years at 19. And she's dominating women's football. She won the MVP
number 19 as well.
Yes. She won the MVP at the FIBA Under-18 championship. It tells you about the trajectory that this player has actually had, and this someone that is 7 foot 3 right now. And the good thing is, it's not that because of her height that she's playing basketball. Her parents were also basketball players. So basketball isn't something that she randomly discovered. through our height. Our parents, like our mother, played for the national team before. So I think that this is part of the reasons why, that's part of the reason why she's playing basketball. And that's why you could see that touch of brilliance, even though you can say she's a little bit slow. But hey, basketball, she's got that size. Who cares about being slow? Get us the rebound, get us those block, get us those, we need you to just help us on defense and leave the other players to get the job done on offense. Even though we know that you can also get us some, a couple of points inside the paint. So I think that she's a big, big player for China. Without her, China are China-less. And but with that, they are actually China-full. That's just what I think about Zhang Ziyu.
No, Kenny, that's wild. But just so you know, in case our viewers are also watching as well, Gabby White, who also plays for the Tigress as well, her mother also played for the Tigress as well. I think she was part of the first team that went to the Olympic Games many years ago. So that's another, just a nugget for you. Oh, yeah, you have a question for Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny, so I want you to, I hope you can give me the clarity about this report that both the junior, the Tigers and the Tigress are suffering from lack of funding from the MBBF. And that report also stated that, crediting the DG of the National Sports Commission that the only budget, the only request they got was that of the World Cup for the Tigress. So I don't know if you have clarity, if it's the reason the junior, the Tigers, although there are some age issues here and there, if that's the reason they are struggling at that tournament in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire.
All right, so when it comes to the issue of poor funding with this team, it's not new to the junior teams. The last World Cup, especially the junior D Tigers of Nigeria, the last World Cup, there were players who reached out to me, saying that they have not been paid their allowances from the last World Cup. That was at that time. I don't know if that has been resolved now, but hearing that now, I don't think it is new to Nigerian basketball. Something that looks like, it sounds so normal. This should be abnormal anywhere else, but right now it sounds so normal. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's true, but I don't think that's the reason why the junior Tigers, they are struggling. I think there are far more, terrible things happening with the junior Tigers than, the non-payment or the poor funding on these national teams. Okay, look at, if it's about the poor funding, why is the junior Tigress not struggling? You look at it from the other side too. So I think the fact that we had 5 of our players being eased out even before the start of the tournament kind of brought down the morale of the players. And I think that I wouldn't come out to say, oh, FIBA did something wrong, because at the end of the day, they have their reasons. I don't think they want to intentionally hurt Nigerians right there. FIBA know what they actually saw before they said, you know what, let these players step aside. So, and if you play with 7 players, we can come out and say, oh, why would they let Nigeria? Mali also got a player eased out. A player from Mali was also dropped from that team because of, age issues like that. So I wouldn't say that their poor performance is due to the poor funding. Is there poor funding? Possibly there is, but of course there has not been a statement yet from these players. These players, of course, they can't come out to speak. If they come out to speak, they're in trouble. They're never going to get invited to the national team again. So that's just been a circle when it comes to Nigerian basketball.
Sorry to cut you short, Kenny. Are you, by any chance, alleging possible victimization? Is that what you're saying? Because if I heard you correctly, you said that if these players speak out, they will not be invited to the national team in the future. Are you alleging that there's victimization in the Nigerian national basketball teams?
But let's not act that this is new to Nigerian sport. This is not new to Nigerian sport. When Okpanoze came out to speak for the Super Falcons, we know what happened to her.
Wow.
When players come out to speak when it comes to other national teams, we know what happens to them afterwards. They become the dark horse. They become the problem suddenly, So it's like that in basketball too. There was a time when a player reached out to me that, they want to come out and call out the federation. For me, this player is actually a very young player. I told this person, you don't have to come out. You have a career to build. Don't worry. If you come out now, you're not going to get invited again. And you know what that means for you. I just have to say this. It tells you about a whole lot that is happening when it comes to Nigerian, basketball scene. But again, the good thing is these ladies, they know how to turn negativity into positivity. And the same thing happens with the senior team. Even when there's a whole lot of negativity in camp, these players know how to turn it into positive energy. And that is why, we just have to keep supporting them and give them, the needed support that they actually need right now.
Kenny Bamidele, our basketball expert, thank you so much for joining us tonight, all the way from Abuja. It's always good to see you on Game On.